Hey guys, so I'm back with another process video, and again I'm going to be using my August, which has turned into my August/September stash kit. So this layout is part of a very large YouTube hop, themed, where a bunch of us are creating back to school layouts. So this is a picture of me and the first day of school of senior year, which is this year. So I took this about 5 days ago, or a week ago, I guess, when you see the video. So anyway, so what I'm doing here is I pulled out this ledger paper, or notebook paper, whatever you want to call it, and that is from the Fancy Pants Life is Beautiful collection, and that wasn't in my kit, but I didn't have any 12x12 papers in my kit, so I had to go into my stash and find something. Now, these numbers here are part of the Vicky Boutin die cut set, and I've been wanting to do something with these ever since I got that die cut set, and it's been about, like, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe 2, and I finally got to use them, so that was good. Okay, so I know I want to use all of those numbers, so at this point I'm thinking it's going to be in a row, either at the bottom or the top of the page like it is at the moment. And then I'm just going to go through all the papers that I have in the kit and just kind of separate them into ones I might use and ones I will absolutely not use, and those will go back into the container just so everything's a bit more minimized and it's much easier to scrapbook with. So yeah, so about the YouTube hop, make sure to check out the description below, and I'll have everybody linked, and you can go and see as many back to school pages as you want. So yeah. So also, you notice I'm not using any sort of school themed collection. I'm just using my basic stash, and I think it actually has a really nice school theme in the end, even though it's not a school themed collection. So I mean, I have the notebook lined kind of paper as a background. I have the numbers, and then I'm also gonna do something here in a bit, which I always do regardless of what the layout is about, but for this particular layout it worked out well. Anyway, so here I'm trying to decide where I want to place my photo, what kind of cluster I want to do, how the overall design of the layout is going to go, and I'm having some trouble with connecting the numbers with the main photo cluster. At the moment it feels like it's just two separate things. So my initial thought was I'm going to try and add the colors that are in the numbers into my photo layers, which is why I currently have a purple and a bluish paper that to match the 6 and 7 respectively. And then I noticed I don't really have a pink one, so there's no point in putting a pink piece of paper, so I'm going to replace it here with a green one to match the 3. And then all the other colors at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to add with embellishing. So here's where I just mapped my photo with this notebook-looking paper here, and it's just white cardstock that was attached to a spiral pad. So it's just scrap paper from when I cut down white cardstock to use as backgrounds. And I always like to add that spiral thing to any pages just because it adds texture. But this particular case, it's kind of school themed with the notebook kind of situation happening. So yeah, so at this point I'm still trying to figure out what the design's going to be because I'm not really liking what's happening at the moment. Now I know I'm going to want to do a title, so I want to make sure I get that down before anything else, because I feel like that's going to be a big factor in determining what the design element will be. But I kind of thinking about what letter options I can use in the back of my mind, and simultaneously I'm going through my huge stack of embellishments that I have in this kit to see what I could possibly want to incorporate at some point, or what titling options I have just in case I change my mind. But I'm pretty sure I want to spell out senior year. So my first instinct was to use these letters. These are from Citrus Twist. They weren't in my kit, but they were sitting on my desk, and they're a red color, which I thought would match the red in the 2 and the 8 very nicely. But the problem I was having with them is that they didn't stand out a lot. They were kind of getting lost on the page, and I still wasn't really liking how the design was going. So at the moment, it was just going to be 3 sections. So it would be a section with the numbers, a section with the photo, and then a section with the title. And I didn't feel like the page wasn't coming together. It sort of felt like 3 very small parts. So I'm still struggling with this. So I'm just playing around with the numbers, trying to figure out how I want to place the picture in corresponds to the number relative to the numbers. So then here I brought out all my titling options. So these are some Amy Tangerine thickers, and they're a nice blue greenish color that matches the 7. So I thought those would work, but again, they're quite thin and they still got lost on the page. And I thought about the gold ones, just to bring in the gold from that number 5. There's a gold foiled outline. So moving the letters again, just trying to. So then I found these, and they're a nice pink color that match the 4, and they have the gold. And they're chipboard, so they're quite bulky. You can see them, but I still felt like they got lost on the page just because there's pink in the background, and they weren't really big enough. And since there was 2 colors, it was a bit distracting from the numbers. So I'm going to stick with this for a bit. I'm still trying to figure out the design of the page. Nothing's really working for me right now. Now I'm thinking I can add the numbers. I can either do the numbers and the title underneath them, or do the numbers on one side of the page, so at the top or bottom, and then the title at the other side, and then have the photo in the middle. But then again, that will cause that problem of cohesiveness that I'm having. So then here I decided, okay, maybe I'll just try and kind of like surround the picture with the numbers, and I did it very, very loosely, and I actually really like how this looks right now. So I'm pretty sure at this point that this is the design I'm going to stick with as far as the numbers go and the photo. So now I just have to figure out where to put the title so it balances out, and also so you can read it easily. So then I came across these cork chipboard letters. So these are both very bulky, and they are neutral colors, so they'll stand out against everything else on the page, so one can read them. But yet they don't distract from the color of the numbers, so I thought that worked out perfectly. So I'm going to incorporate them sort of in the surrounding of the picture. So the picture is going to be surrounded on all sides other than the top. It's kind of like nestled into the numbers and a bit of the title. So I've added a question mark and a exclamation point, just because first of all, I kind of wanted to fill in a bit more space, and second of all, the whole concept of the layout is the idea, and the journaling that I'm gonna write is how I wouldn't say weird. It's just how unexpected it is to. I mean, it's a very surreal feeling to be for me to be in the last year of high school. Especially since I'm probably going to go to university in a different country than where I live now. It's just a very, very weird sensation. So that's kind of what I wanted to document here. Anyway, so now I'm kind of starting to fill in the cluster of pictures. So the clusters of numbers. So I know I'm going to want to add little bits of embellishing in among the title and the numbers, just scattered throughout the whole huge cluster there, and just kind of balance out some of the colors. So I know I want to have another green piece, another red piece, another yellow, that kind of thing. So you'll see how I'm going to do that here in a bit. But first I want to get everything glued down, just because I'm gonna mostly be using stickers from now on, and I don't want things to move around. So I'm just gluing everything down so it can be much more easier for me to add anything else. So this chipboard piece there says it's a wild ride. I thought it was kind of it's one that kind of worked. The phrasing kind of worked with just like the last 6 years of middle school and high school. Anyways, I'm just going through this huge stack of embellishments and just kind of picking out little things that might work. I thought that this red thing would look nice at the top of the photo there, just to bring in something at the top there. But I'm gonna end up deciding that I don't like that up there, so I'm gonna remove it. Then I thought about adding some of this washi tape, and I thought it would work, but it was just too structured. The design kind of lost the circular no lines it has at the moment around the photo. So I've also added that little, it's not really little, it's a medium-sized camera wood veneer over there to the left to fill in that gap between the 2 and the 3. Then I found this typewriter in the Chanel sticker book that I have from Little by Little, and I thought it would be a perfect addition to the page because it had the navy to draw out the navy and the blue, and it's a typewriter, which is kind of school themed, but at that time I couldn't figure out where to put it, so I just set it aside and decided to come back to it later. I filled in that camera with a little blue heart, and that blue matches exactly the one of the 7. So that way I have a blue something somewhere else on the page. Now, to bring in a bit more of the yellow that's in the number 8, I added both a flower puffy sticker from Citrus Twist next to the title, and I've also added a word sticker under the word 3. So now I also want to bring in some of that navy, so I pull out these Chanel Little by Little enamel dots, and I'm actually going to use the stars, so there's going to be a star where the title is at the moment. And then I decided to get rid of that flower and replace it with a heart. So I have Ellie Studio hearts. I put the green one over there by the title to kind of bring in the green from the number 3, and then I added the yellow one over to where the 4 is to bring both in the yellow from the number 8, and it's also more of a more orangey color, so it also brings the color of the 9. So then I decided to do my journaling right there in a little area between the 6 and the 9, and I just used a gold Pilot gel pen just because I didn't want to add any black on this page because I had the navy, and it kind of went with the jeans I'm wearing as well. So yeah, so I'm just going in through any more embellishments, and I'm trying to decide if I want to add anything else. Because at this point the layout kind of feels empty, but on the other hand, I don't want to add anything that's going to distract from the color and the bright, from the color of the numbers and the boldness of them. So that's also a reason why I didn't have any pattern paper behind my photo. So I'm gonna come back to the typewriter here, and I'm gonna end up sticking it down there next to the 9. I've also added a pink word sticker that says Chasing Dreams. I think it was just the most relevant one from that pink pack. And then I added another navy star, enamel star. And then I felt like I needed the gold in some more places, so I just added a few more lines of journaling here and there. And yeah, so now I still feel like it needs something. So I pulled out this pink paper, and I thought I would maybe matte it. Now, I wasn't sure if it would work because I felt like it contrasted too much with the red. Not contrasted, it distracted, it didn't match with the red in the 2 and the 8. But I decided to try it anyway, so I trimmed down the layout, put it down, and of course I didn't like it. It was way too pink. But I had already trimmed down the layout, and I didn't want to. I would rather it be a full 12 by 12. So thankfully, the backside of that pink paper was in fact this notebook paper that I've been using. So I just decided to kind of make a textured look. So what I did was I took my scissors and I kind of scraped the edges of the layout to make it a bit distressed. And then I'm going to glue it down, and you can see the reflection of it behind. So it looks like it's kind of popped up. And just adds the slightest amount of texture that I never would have done it if I hadn't already cut down the layout. But yeah, it was probably fine even as it was originally before I cut it down. But since I did cut it down, I just decided to add this extra detail. And I do like how it looks, but I don't think it was absolutely necessary. And that's about going to complete the page. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out all the links down in the description box, and I will see you next time.